First, can we just go back to your trip to Kingsmeadow and Chelsea? I use that phrase free hit. I mean, it was an unexpected game. I mean, how did you look at it? And coming out of it, you must feel fairly proud, actually. I mean, I know it looks like a heavy scoreline, but in terms of playing those teams, it was pretty respectable, actually.
Yeah, I think overall we had a really successful campaign. To get to that stage wasn't expected of us, and the game was, like you say, a bit of a free hit and a really good experience for our young squad, and we played in a different way. We showed a different side of ourselves, and we were disappointed with the goals in the first half. I think we looked at that at half time, and then the one straight after half time kind of killed us a little bit, but for then to 84 minutes it was quite a good game, and we had a good couple of chances as well. Mary's got in and Jenna's had a good strike, and we made a good account of ourselves and probably lost a bit of legs in the last bit, and they'd made a couple of changes, but we'd made a couple of changes, but yeah, overall really pleased and great experience. They're the games you want to be involved in at this level, and that's what we're all aspiring to.
Was it quite an eye-opener for some of the girls, bearing in mind their experience or relatively sort of lack of experience?
Yeah, I think you've got internationals, when we did our due diligence on them, like, they're just full of international players, and you've watched some of those players over the years, like Fran Kirby, what a professional. She was a great role model on the night as well, and our girls absolutely loved the experience, and it's something that they'll remember, and hopefully it'll kick us on for the end of the season.
Was it quite welcome in one sense, because it's quite a break between the Reading game and Lewes on Sunday, so having that game then was probably quite good on the back of the Reading game, but also just to keep that gap, sort of keep momentum going, if you like.
Yeah, I mean, it was tough. The travel was tough. The quick turnaround to London twice, but actually we've had a good rest since then now, and we can prepare properly for Lewes, and I think that the girls will have reflected over the weekend and will come in today and hopefully chew the fat a little bit of the games that we've had and be ready for Lewes come Sunday.
Stung a little bit by the Reading result. I mean, you went into that on the back of a good result at Blackburn, and I think we would have probably expected you to come away with something from the game, but Blair sent off as well. Glad to get that one behind you.
Yeah, I think when you look at it as a whole, we went down to 10 after half an hour. You never prepare for that, but I think we adapted really well, and actually in the second half we put on a good account of ourselves, both in possession and out of possession, and it was a little bit of a sucker punch in transition. The stats show that we did well. It was just the final piece didn't go in, and the keepers made a couple of good saves, and it hasn't quite dropped for us in the box. But yeah, I think it's something again that we'll take a lot from, ready for the last run-in of games, to hopefully put ourselves in a good position come the last game against Crystal Palace.
I mean, Lewes looks like a good game to come back to. These are the games that historically can always bite you on the bum, aren't they?
Yeah, I think we played them away. It was an interesting first half. We ended up 2-0 up, and I thought they played quite well. And then professionally in the second half, we just kind of killed the game off, and I think we did a really good job. But we know they've got a threat. We know they've signed a lot of players, and they're going to come with something a little bit different, and we've got to be, like you say, consistent in what we produce. We've got to be on it from the first minute, because they've been having fast starts, and we know that. So yeah, we'll prepare as we always do for everyone in this league. It's an exciting league to be a part of, and you never know what you're going to come up against on the day. So yeah, we'll do what we can.
I mean, it's an exciting league to be part of this season, because where you are, I mean, is that something that's driving you on at the moment, because you're still there, you're still up there, you're still within a shout?
Definitely. I think a lot of people probably didn't put us in this position come this time of the season, but it's nicer to be at that part of the table than at where we were last year, definitely, and there's been a lot of hard work that's gone into that. And for some people it'll be a surprise, but for us that within the building, it's not. We know the players that we've got, we know the calibre of staff that we've got, and we've all worked really hard to get this point, and we talk about the togetherness a lot, and I think personally that's why we are where we are.
And how enjoyable is it for you? I mean, you compare to last season, you're fighting for your lives, and now here you are fighting possible promotion. It must affect you as a coach. You must enjoy it more.
Yeah. I mean, previously I've finished runner-up in this league, so I've been there a couple of times, and in amongst it until the end, and you know that this is why you prepare for games. You know, you want to find little moments to undo the opposition and get that win over the line, and we've been fortunate in some games where we've maybe had a bit of luck. There's other games where we've been absolutely outstanding, and you know, hopefully we'll see that come Sunday.
The Reading game obviously really tough to take, but can you take something from the fact that you were every inch, you know, that they're equal in the second half of 10? Because I'm not sure that would have been the case last year when you'd been able to do that. Do you think the players can take a bit away from that?
Yeah, I think they all just rolled their sleeves up. It was one of those games where you felt like, I mean, I think Mel said it in part of hers, it felt like we had 12. We had like an extra player somewhere. Someone was doing it a bit more than they probably would have done or should have done in the game, and we found pockets of space. We played into some good areas, we got some good chances, we had a couple of set pieces, and yeah, I think it gives us a bit of a different belief, and yeah, it brought us together even more, if I'm brutally honest, from that game.
And I suppose it sums up the division a bit. It's probably not a result that anyone saw coming Reading winning, but it wasn't the only one in the division, was it? A lot of teams around you tripped up, and I guess that just sums up, you've got to stay level-headed, I guess, haven't you, in terms of what's ahead as well.
A lot of people say the cliche of not getting too high and with the highs and not too low with the lows, and we were coming back on the bus and we were seeing the results coming in, and like you say, it was a shock and surprise to everyone. But you know, there's a lot of teams now that have either strengthened in the January window or they've found different ways, and you know, us as coaches, as a staff and the players have got to maintain our own standards and consistency, even though the teams are doing something different.
Just this weekend, is Katie Kitchen still away?
Yeah.
And is Louise suspended?
Yeah, she is,
as
yeah.
well. So obviously that poses some challenges for you, but I guess a good thing this season as well, maybe different to previous years, is the depth you've got players in those positions who've already done well this season. I mean, Grace obviously at left back is a great example.
Yeah, I think
you've got that trust in these players.
Oh, definitely. Like, we utilised the competition with the Conti Cup as well to give people minutes and to have a different look at people in positions and stuff, and we did that in the pre-season. We were prepared for what was potentially going to come, and you know, even though we are young, there's some of these players, like Katie had 50 appearances, the other day, and for someone of her age to have played 50 times for this football club at senior level is outstanding, and there's only going to be more to come. So yes, they're young, but they are gaining more experience as we're growing as a club as well, and yeah, there's going to be opportunities for players. You know, those players are not in, so someone else is going to take the shirt, and we've got to try and keep it.
Some chance of someone trying to get set pieces off Katie as well, but it's going to be quite a tall order, I guess. Yeah,
I think Tash is kind of pushing away forward, and a couple of other players at that moment, but yeah, we've got a little bit of time this week to probably work on some of those things, and I know Kitch has started for the Ferns the other day, and she came on today, so you know, really proud of her and what she's doing, and you know, we'll keep an eye on her as she's aware, and wish her well.
With these sort of games, when you play a team in the position that Lewes is, how much do you have to rely on everyone for their concentration? Because obviously you guys will do and say all the right things and say nothing can be taken for granted, but ultimately you do have to rely on the players' concentration for that as well, don't you?
Yeah, I think the group in itself, they've got some great leaders that kind of drive those standards from within, and they know what it takes. Some of them have been there and done it, but yeah, there's quite a lot of good leadership throughout the team. I know Brianna and Tash lead the way, but we've got some fantastic leaders in Amy, and Jenna, you know, has got a lot of good experience that in different moments you rely on those players. It's not the same faces, and when it can ripple throughout the whole team, I think that's been a massive difference this season as well.
And just, do you get the sense that everyone is enjoying being part of this race at the top?
Oh yeah, that's where you want to be, isn't it? You want to be challenging and up and amongst it, and yeah, we're fighting for every point, and yeah, it's one of those where you just enjoy it. You're enjoying it. You're enjoying coming to work. You're enjoying being on the pitch, and long may it continue.